we have started with the British interference in tribal societies. I have told you that the Britishers even they started interfering in the tribal societies, whatever it is. They attacked all the traditional structure of the tribal society. The tribal people, they lived in a very peaceful way. They had their own way of life and everything. Okay, they had their own way of life. They had a headman for their tribal society and everything. But these Britishers started exploiting them also. Okay, tribal chief lost their ruling power because these Britishers entered there and then they started having the control over the tribal people. They chased them away from the places in order to use the forest resources, whatever it is there. So the tribal chief, the headman of the tribals also lost their powers. Fine. So a lot of conflicts were between the tribals and the Britishers, that is English East India Company, EEIC. And these people, tribal people, so long they were herding their animals, they lived with the food, whatever they got in the forest, and they did some occupation, sold in the nearby market. So this is the way they lived their life. But suddenly these Britishers made them to pay the taxes. Okay, because they occupied the forest and they are living, so they had to pay the taxes. And due to that, due to those kind of tortures, these tribal people borrowed money at a very high rate of interest. Where they go to borrow money, they have to borrow money only from the Britishers. Okay, so whoever were having the lands, their lands were taken away because they couldn't pay the taxes. And some forests were declared as the reserve forest by the Britishers. Okay, reserve forest by the Britishers, and they could no longer cut wood or gather forest products and to cultivate. Now listen, these Britishers made the forest as reserve forest. So reserve forest means it will be under their control. Without their permission, they couldn't enter that place also. They couldn't enter the place also. So because of that, people couldn't cut wood for their use and they couldn't gather any forest products like fruits and vegetables for their food. Even they were not permitted to do any kind of cultivation over there. They do any kind of cultivation over there. So after occupying all the places, the British wanted to expand their roads and railway network everywhere. Okay, they wanted to expand the roads and railway network everywhere. So they started cut down the trees for timber. They did not allow the tribal people to cut down any trees, but these Britishers started cutting down the trees for their use, for the construction of the roads and railways. So totally the tribal people lost their livelihood. Even the Britishers started the mines. Why the mines are set up? Why they have to do the mines? Because we know very well that mines, minerals are found in the earth. So in order to take out all the minerals from the earth, mines were done. They were doing the mines also. And they started constructing the factories near the mines. Okay, and these tribal people were used as the cheap labor. Even they misused them as slaves. They made them to work in poor condition. The place where we cannot stand, okay, a sluggish area or something else we will say, a very dirty area, something, whatever it is, the place which is not suitable, which is not fit to stand also, they made them to work in those conditions. Okay, and whatever it is, they were not paid also. Even though though they were paid only very less amount of money. So all the tribal people suffered a lot. Many people lost their life because of these ill treatments and suffering without the food also, and some kind of diseases because the place where they lived also were in a very 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 poor condition. So they were affected by the diseases and many people lost their lives also. Okay, now because of the Britishers' interference in tribal societies, many outsiders, the outsiders were called daikus. Okay, the outsiders were called daikus. They were like the traders, money lenders, and zamindars also began to settle in tribal areas. Why these people wanted to settle in tribal areas? Because the tribal people had to pay the taxes, so they are in need of money. So these people from the outside, they came to the forest side tribal areas, and they started lending their money. They started using the tribal people for their own use. Understood? So traders, money lenders, and zamindars also entered into that places, and they settled in tribal areas. So after they settled once again, it was a great threat for the tribal groups. Okay, already they were suffering because of the Britishers' control and the treatment. Again, these outsiders also entered into the place. So tribal people, they were totally in a threat. So tribal life during the British era. Let us see now. Many revolts happened. Tribals also started revolting against the Britishers and even the outsiders who were called Daikus because they lost their independence, so they turned into rebels. Rebels means who enter into the conflicts, who were against the Britishers. And these Daikus were considered as intruders. They were used as instruments by the British government to bring the tribals under the control of the colonial government. So these Daikus were used by the Britishers, okay, to bring the tribal people under their control, because these daikus are only going to give money. They are going to lend money for the high rate of interest. So these Britishers used the daikus to exploit the tribal people, to bring all the people, tribal people, under their control. So many revolts happened everywhere. Some of the important revolts were the Coles Revolt, which happened between 1831-32, Santal's Hull, which happened in the year 1855, Munda Rebellion, which happened in the year 1899. These are the important revolts by the tribal people. Let us see the Mundas rebellion, that is a Mundas uprising. Mundas are the group of tribal people. I told you, no, different groups are, different names are given for the tribal people. So this is one of the group. They were the native tribes of Chota Nagpur region. Okay, they were the native tribes of Chota Nagpur region. Due to the new land revenue policies, the non-tribal people came and settled down in this region. Okay, so land revenue policies, many of them wanted to occupy land. Okay, that outsiders came to the tribal area and occupied many of these lands. So Mundas lost their traditional forms of livelihood. They were forced to work for the outsiders because they were in need of money. If they need money, they have to work for the outsiders. And they became the forced laborers. They were called as Bet Begaris. Forced laborers means Bet Begaris. And they became indentured labor due to the Christian missionaries. Mundas got divided along Christian and non-Christian lines. So these areas were under the control of the Britishers. They belonged to, they follow the religion called Christian, and they started Christian missionaries also everywhere. Because of that reason, these tribal people also got divided under Christians and non-Christians. Okay, Christians and non-Christians. You would have seen a film also related to this, one of the Tamil film. Okay, so check it out, and later that, if you have time, if you can watch that. So like it is shown in the film, nearly 80 percentage whatever is shown in the film is true only. That is how the people were treated by the Britishers. And here among the Munda's group, Birsa Munda is an important person, okay, who led the revolution against the Britishers. So let us see. He was a son of a sharecropper. Okay, he got some education from the Christian missionaries because Christian missionaries were started at the time. So he got education from Christian missionaries. And he also proclaimed himself as a prophet with miraculous healing powers. he got some kind of healing pass. Healing pass means like he was able to cure some kind of diseases at that time. Okay, so he was that famous at the time. He gathered all the Mundas group to fight against the superstitious beliefs, okay, like animal sacrifice, and stop taking intoxicants like liquor or some other things. He advised the people not to take all those kind of things. And he compelled the people to retain all the old tradition, don't try to follow the Western culture which are given by the Britishers and the other outsiders. He compelled the people, he told the people, he advised the people to follow the old traditions. Till 1895, okay, till 1895, Birsa was a religious reformer and an agitator for the forest. That is, a protector of the forest. He wanted to protect the forest from the others' exploitation. Okay, and he wanted to protect the rights of the Mundas also till 1895. Okay, and he even urged the people to recover their glorious past. That is what he told the people, to follow the same tradition, whatever they followed in their ancient times. And he wanted to get the freedom for the people. So he was put in the jail for 2 years when he started recruiting the volunteers to fight against the Britishers. He wanted to gather a group, he wanted to form a group who can revolt against the Britishers. So he started recruiting the members for that group. Because of that, he was sent to jail for 2 years. After he returned from the jail, he was more determined to send the outsiders who were called Daikus from the tribal area. He was more determined to send them out of the forest. So he was called as Birsa Bhagwan, the god of the Birsas, okay, by his followers. Understood? So this is some kind of a scene where a group was gathered by the. So after that, he and his followers attacked police stations, post offices, even the other official symbols in the Singhbam and Ranchi district. Singhbam and Ranchi districts. He raised his white flag as a symbol of Birsa Raja. Wherever they attacked the places after that, his followers raised the white flag to show that they got the victory over them. But again, he was captured and sent to jail. In the jail itself, he died. Okay. So after he was sent to jail, he was like beaten up severely and he was not treated by the Britishers well. So he died in the jail itself. So after he died, even the Birsa rebellion also lost its power because there is no head to take over the rebellion. But at that time only, the government made many laws to protect the traditional rights over land and banned the Betbegaris, that is compulsory workers, compulsory laborers. These kind of forced laborers should not be there. So that is a law passed by the government at that time. Okay, children. So I hope that you have understood this lesson. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. For your next cycle test, I will tell you now itself. You have your second lesson, history second lesson, that is along with objectives and question answers you have to learn fully. Third lesson is also there, history third lesson is also there, but it is only objective lesson. It is only objective lesson. For the next another one, geography side, you have lesson number 15, natural resources, land, soil and water. This lesson is also there. So this lesson is also a full lesson. Okay, that is, you have to learn objectives, question answers. So 2 full lessons and 1 objective lesson for your next cycle test. You can start preparing for that. Continue your same spirit to get good marks. And main thing is you should be very honest while writing your exam. Okay, because we are not going to stop like this by sitting at home and writing the exams. Anyhow, one day or the other day, we have to report to the school. that time you should not have any struggle in doing your regular work. You should not have any problem in your regular studies. Okay, if you are asked to write your exam, you should have the full hope to write your exam. That time you should not get stuck over anywhere. Please don't take advantage of being at home. You have to write your exam very sincerely because very less number of lessons are given to you, understanding your situation. So what you have to do, you have to prepare well in advance, write and practice. That only is the best solution to remember anything and even to keep up your writing practice. Please write and practice even to avoid the spelling mistakes and to improve your handwriting. Many of you have the separate handwriting only. Cursive handwriting was followed only by very few children. Try to follow the cursive writing also, which will give you more speed. Okay, so if you have any doubt, you can ask me regarding this lesson. So this is the lesson, colonialism and tribal societies. In that we have seen new administrative and revenue policies, okay, which changed the tribal people life, and who is a tribe also we have seen. Now here, tribal life before the intervention of the British, it was very good. They were practicing jhum cultivation, they were hunters and food gatherers, they were rearing their animals, okay, and they were settled cultivators, they were doing lot of artwork also, they were artisans. So this is the way they spent their life. But after the Britishers entered, it was totally changed. So jhum cultivation, which was practiced by the Gonds. So this is also like the shifting cultivation where they used to clear the forest. They burned that other unwanted things and then used that ash as manure for their land. Okay. Once the soil loses its fertility, they go to the next place and then they same way they clear the forest and do the cultivation. Okay, these jhum cultivators are mainly found in central and northeast India. This cultivation is also called as slash and burn cultivation. Okay, these people, they sold the forest products such as fruits, okay, medicinal herbs and plants, and even honey in the local nearby markets. Local markets were called as hats. They were like animal herders and breeders. Koyas tribes lived as herders and breeders. Okay, they led a nomadic life and they even moved from one place to another place when the season changes. Next one, settled cultivators were the Mundas and Urayans. Okay, artisans, tribes, Mohali tribes and Loharas tribes were like artisans. They were doing the basket weaving and tool making, and they also sold their products in the local market. They had their interaction with the outside world only for selling their products in the markets, and even they they go outside their village to work also. At that time only the Britishers came to that place and attacked all their traditions and everything. They brought them totally under their control. Okay, tribal chief also lost their power. The Daikus, who were called as outsiders, money lenders, and the others also enter into that place and started controlling over the tribal people. Okay, factories were set up and roads, and the Britishers only cut the trees for construction of the roads and railways. Even they started opened their mines and factories also, and these tribal people were used as the cheap laborers. Even they were forced laborers also. At that time they were divided under two groups like Christian missionaries and non-Christian missionaries. But finally government also gave a law that nobody should be the forced laborer by any Britishers or any outsiders.